Hey guys, how you going? This is Billy Eat World, and today we're going to take another quick look at Rush in BF4. The reason I thought I'd make this video is because lately I've been noticing it seems that more often than not, the attackers end up losing. To make sure I wasn't imagining this problem, I actually started tracking my Rush games, and so far I've managed to collect the results of 40 different games. These results came from a bunch of different servers over a few different days, and still, across the board, the results were pretty much in line with what I originally thought. Of these 40 games, the defending team won 31 times, and the attacking team won only 9 times, which is 77.5% in favour of the defenders. I know this figure isn't going to be 100% accurate with such a small sample size, but this trend happened in literally every server I joined, and on some rotations it was even worse. Some maps were actually pretty balanced, but the vast majority of maps were easier to defend, and maps like Metro and Locker were just broken. And what's even more annoying is that I'd say in over half the games the defenders won, the attackers didn't even take the first MCOMs, which is enough to put anyone off the game mode. Now, I think this has always been a problem since the game came out, but I think the reason it's so obvious now is because the player base is mainly veterans. Maps like Locker are almost unwinnable if the defenders know what to do, and sometimes it only takes one camping shit bucket to completely unbalance the whole game. In the old days, winning was never easy, but it was at least possible if you had a squad of decent players and you were facing off against an average team. In balanced matches, the defenders were always favoured though, and now with skill-based matchmaking, the teams are a lot more balanced than they've ever been. I think the main reason this is so bad though, is because the defending team has 4 chances to win, and on the other hand, the attackers have only 1. Even the best teams can get bogged down on tricky objectives, and the problem is pretty much every map has at least 1 or 2 MCOMs that are really hard to take. I mean, sure, the attackers have vehicles to help them out, but there's a huge advantage in being the team that gets to sit back in cover. Because of this, the defenders start with the initiative, and all they have to do is keep it to win, whereas the attackers have to start winning and keep winning 4 times over. Now, one thing I did notice is that part of the reason defending teams ended up losing was more often than not because players dropped out of the server. Most of the time this was only an advantage for the attackers until the server filled up though, and it could just as easily happen to their team as well. Most of the time players leave because they don't have a chance to win, and I'm sure as you've all seen, it can snowball until half the team is gone. And considering the attackers are much more likely to lose in Rush, the snowball effect happens to them a lot more, which I think makes the problem even worse. I'm not suggesting DICE should go back to the old matchmaking system to fix this problem, but I do think something needs to be done to make the mode viable again. Increasing the ticket count and reducing the MCOM timer would be a start, but most of all, I think something needs to be done about the camping power positions. For example, some of the hills in the snow lane on Locker are ridiculously bad, and any decent support player can single-handedly lock down the MCOMs. Also, inaccessible rooftops are a big deal as well, so I don't know why they just can't be zoned out of bounds, at least for this game mode. But anyway, to finish up, until DICE fix this problem, which may never happen, what can you do to make your Rush experience better? Well, to begin with, if you're playing as the attackers, now more than ever you need to play the objective for the sake of the rest of your team. As a general rule, don't run Sniper on Rush Attack because it's not effective anyway, and those recon gadgets are much more useful helping your team push up. Also, if no one in your squad is running support or medic, then think about switching over because running out of ammo or getting killed is obviously a big loss in tempo. And speaking of tempo, well that's the name of the game when it comes to attacking, because if you can keep up the speed, you can usually steamroll the MCOMs. If you give the defenders a chance to set up defensive positions, then they'll have a better chance of taking you out, so just try and push up as soon as you can. Also, just bear in mind that vehicles are given to the attackers to compensate for their other disadvantages, so don't waste them, and most importantly, don't let the defenders get into them. Sometimes you only get 1 or 2 vehicles in an entire round, so if you're dumb enough to give them to the enemy, you can pretty much consider the game lost from that point on. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this quick video, so let me know what you think about Rush in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see more of my videos, or if you want to support my channel on Patreon, and until next time, see you later, and have a good one.